back here for 2 days, and then to Chicago for the men's Big Ten tournament. And that seems a little bit more appealing to go to now than a month ago. Yeah. So there's lots to talk about with a big one down at PBA this evening as the Huskers take on Sparty. And I want to go through that a little bit, but I am a couple of stories to tell, and there's a lot of catching up to do. First of all, shout out to my sister and a life well lived. My oldest sister passed, and that was kind of why I was in D.C. to take care of that. Got to reconnect with some folks and run into some old friends. So that was really cool. Got to see my daughter. Got to, hang out a bit in the neighborhood, go by my old high school and such. So that was really cool. On the flight back, so last night, the choice for me is, do I fly into Omaha where I can get a straight flight, but you got to make the trip there and back, or do you go from Lincoln?
Got to connect somewhere,
right?
First.
But you got to connect somewhere, and so the connection is always Chicago, usually in the choices that we make. We land in Lincoln last night. It's 9:30, right?
Yeah.
So it's a skeleton crew at the airport. Except we land and they can't get the ramp to work. And I mean, it is a calamity. It is a clown show watching them try to get this ramp up to where it needs to be. And God bless the woman who was trying and the gentleman that helped her. It just wasn't happening. And it was, okay, back it up. It was like, the scene from Austin Powers where he's trying to turn the car.
Yes.
That's what it was like. It was like, oh, this isn't going to work. They're going to try it again. They're going to try it again. Watch this. And so 45 minutes of sitting at the gate in your seat.
After two flights,
bad weather, delays, the whole shebang. Yeah. And you start to get frustrated. And then I'm more patient than a lot of people who travel. And these folks they're just getting like, they're ready to barge the door. Like they're ready to just charge it and give whatever hands they need to give to get off the plane. And then finally somebody says, well, just use the stairs. But apparently they don't use the stairs much, because they rolled out some 1960s stairs.
Vintage stairs.
These should be in the museum of
the
National Aviation Museum. That's where these should be.
Ship them back where you just came from, the Smithsonian.
Right? Like, just, it is a thing. And I felt so bad because I was scared for people. I was scared for the older people. I'm an older person, but for older than me, I was afraid that, okay, there's going to be some tumbling going on. Like somebody's going to take a header going down these steep stairs. And then they decided they were going to make us get up, stairs to get down and then stairs to get back up. But then somebody said, no, we're not going to make you do that. Somebody opened the side gate that leads directly to the street.
Oh.
So if you coming to gate 4 at Lincoln, and there's a gate that sits directly to the left of that, they opened that gate and we could just walk. Once we got to the bottom of the stairs, you could just walk out to the street. Now you still had to go around the corner to get your baggage, but at that point, yeah. And then I can fully say it's the first flight I've ever been on where the luggage reached baggage claim before all of the passengers. All of the luggage made it there because the luggage came off right away. And I mean, we were on it. And I just went, oh boy. Oh man, this is brutal. And then and my connection was tight because of the delays. So couldn't eat. Hadn't eaten since, lunchtime or whatever when I got on the plane. It was not cool. But I did come up with a new game.
Ooh.
I did come up with a new airport game. And it's amazing.
I'm flying a couple times in the next month and a half. So lay it on me.
So tie this in. So I had a rule to myself that unless something was on fire or something's broken, I do not want to be on my phone at the airport.
Sure.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are extenuating circumstances. There are moments when people need to communicate at the last minute. Hey, now you could text anything that you need to say to your significant other. Hey, I'm boarding. Hey, I missed, whatever. But if you're having general conversations, but they're usually what I call self-importance conversations, right? Somebody trying to be Big Boss Bob on speaker out loud.
The worst kind of people.
Right? Or two friends that are talking that just don't care that anybody else is around, so you have to be in their conversations. So I figured out a new game. If somebody's on the phone and it's so loud that I'm affected, like that, okay, you really aren't protecting your private information from me or your conversation. I make myself a part of the conversation. So I walk next to them or up to them and I answer whatever it is that they say to the person on the phone.
Oh, that's incredible.
So the guy yesterday, and again, I named him Bob because his name was Bob, because he kept saying his name was Bob.
For everyone in the airport to hear, his name was Bob.
His name was Bob, and he was talking to Steve. And Steve has to be the most patient human being on the planet because Bob kept repeating the very basic information to Steve. And Steve, I could hear Steve acknowledge that he got the information. But Bob, hey, Steve, did you get that? So I need for you, Steve, I need for you to go to my office. And then in my office, there's a third drawer to the left. Steve, you got third drawer to the left. I need you. And I'm like, Bob. So I walk up next to him like, Bob, I heard you, bro. Like, I heard you. I got it. What am I looking for, Bob? What am I looking for? And he looks at me with a look that I really should have recorded it but I was laughing internally hard. I was laughing hard. And then there's a lady who sees this happening and she's in tears. She's in tears. She's like, oh, this is the best thing ever. And it went on for like 3 minutes. Just him, he's just having the conversation. And I said, whenever this happens, I'm just going to do this. Well, I sat down to eat, and next to me were they were like 3 rows away from me. But these two women were having a conversation about their exes.
In public for everyone to hear.
At an airport restaurant. In between flights where you're talking about your exes. And Tiffany, who's 37 and an accountant and owns her own house and has 2 dogs and no kids. And Amber, who I believe works for one of the top 100 Fortune 5 companies in the country. Why? Because she kept quoting it.
If you're on Tinder, you'll know the one, apparently.
Right? Like, that's just it. And so they're talking. I'm like, I'm like, girl, you should tell him, not in my life, and I'm doing the finger wag and the head wave.
You can't not do it.
You had to, because she was like, and girl, let me tell you, I'm 37 years old with no kids. I can do what I want. I don't have no
my own house.
Like, I have my own house that I own. And I'm just like, yeah, girl, you tell him. It's your house. And the waitress went and got the other waitresses to sit and watch the show. And then finally the girl looks at me and she said, thank you. Your meal is free.
Yes.
So, yeah, traveling can be fun. You have to entertain yourself whatever way you want to entertain yourself. But that's what that is. We'll go to break. When we come back, we'll talk about the Huskers and the Spartans tonight at Pinnacle Bank Arena. Let us know on the text line if you're going. Let us know if you're going to be there. We'll be looking out for you. The Huskers need you tonight. This is a big one down at PBA.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batstorats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like getting new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best we can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. We're on the brink of spring cleanups for all of our existing customers and have limited spots left. We trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give us a call today at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of our designers and get ready for Tailored Life's grand opening in it.
Welcome to Lincoln State Hoops fans. Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill at 10th and P is your go-to spot for the small town feel in the middle of Lincoln's downtown area. Come enjoy great food and great drinks for lunch or dinner and before or after any game at Rosie's. 10th and P.
Hey there.
Hi, honey.
Uh-oh.
Remember we told Jamie and Mike about Liberty First Credit Union, how great their checking account and car loans are, the amazing service we get, and how we love being members?
Yeah.
Well, they took our advice. Jamie said how easy it was to move all their accounts and become members. Now they say they're banking with purpose at Liberty First Credit Union.
Learn more about being a member at libertyfirstcu.com. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Member NCUA.
Chances are you've tried fruitcake before. Chances are it looked pretty weird. Lots of colors that don't really exist in nature. Chances are it tasted weird. Chances are you need to try fruitcake again. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. None of that weird stuff you didn't like, just real fruit, premium nuts, and the delicious flavor combination of brandy, bourbon, and rum to meld all that together. See for yourself. Grandma's Fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful career can be difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills and make connections to help you build your career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, visit serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, call 988 for free, confidential, and compassionate support. On July 16th, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is transitioning to 988. There is hope. For 24/7 support, call, text, or chat 988.
Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
A new year means new goals and upgrading, but that doesn't only apply to health and fitness. Mullen Motors can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2023 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2022 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Lake.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Mostly cloudy skies for the majority of the day. We may see some clearing late. We'll see a high of around 50. Winds out of the southeast at around 10 to 15. Clearing skies tonight with a low down to around 30. We'll see an increase in cloud cover late in the day tomorrow with a high once again near 50. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Old School on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Yeah, Austin and I are going to work this thing out on what would it take for Amy Williams and the Huskers to be in the NCAA tournament. And it's not going to be easy, nor should it be, because we're talking about getting to the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be. Here's the question. Do they have to win the tournament to get in? Do they have to win the Big Ten tournament to get into the NCAA tournament?
So was looking at the bracketology over the weekend, and I think I still had it pulled up yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So as of today at 8:15 God's time, that is Central Time Zone for those of you curious.
Gotcha.
Nebraska is in the first four out. They're the third team in the first four out behind West Virginia and Oregon. The last four byes include teams like Illinois, who Nebraska split with, just one on the road there.
I said 3 weeks ago that it was mandatory for Nebraska to beat Illinois.
You did.
Come on!
And they did. They beat them.
We went through the Minnesota game, which was a big one. We circled that one. We said, you got to get that one. And then that February 9th loss to Illinois in a game that they should have won.
Yep. Two other teams in the last four byes, DP. Purdue, who Nebraska beat already this year, and Kansas. Hey, Nebraska beat them already this year. So you got two teams ahead of you in the pecking order in terms of first four out that you need to lose early in their conference tournaments. You have Illinois and Purdue, who are on the opposite side of the bracket from you. You want them to lose early. So Nebraska is still in the conversation. They are still right there.
This is going to be frustrating because I was having a discussion with some basketball people, and they're Maryland people, and they said, well, if they had won a game or two and weren't in that 8 seed, what would it have done? And I said, not much.
Because you're playing Iowa then.
Not much, right? Like this is how it played out. It really wouldn't have mattered because the top 4 seeds are really good. They're really good. And it wasn't going to matter how it played out. You're going to have to beat a really good team to do that. So when we're looking at this bracket, they and again, it's first games first, right? Win the first game first. And number 9, Michigan State, a team that they beat by 4. They should have beat them by.
You're up
15.
20 at one point.
Like you should have won that game by 15 points. If you were the number 7 seed, let's say you played up, you would be Purdue, and you'd get Wisconsin, number 10 Wisconsin, and then in the second round you would face Iowa. If you were number 10, same things in play. Let's say you had played up to number 6. Let's say you played up to all the way to number 6. Illinois. You're going to get a lower team that you should probably beat. And then, by the way, Maryland.
Again, for a third time.
Now, they beat Maryland at Maryland, but the second matchup was not pretty.
No, the first matchup, though, was the third highest rated win all season in women's college basketball, according to some sites. But that was the first time.
Big time.
Yeah.
Right, big time. So let's just say, for grins and giggles, that at 11:30, it's too early. So much. Why would you put that game early? 11:30. 11:30. Oh, by the way, if they win that game, you know what time they're playing on Friday?
11:30. 11:30. But hey, if they get to Saturday, it's only 1:30.
Let me chart the path for this thing. Michigan State, so they would have to beat Michigan State, Indiana, and then, I don't know, Ohio State, who they didn't really look good against.
No.
But if you can do those things, and no matter Iowa or Maryland on the other side, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they'll battle, and I would bet Maryland, because Maryland shut down Caitlin Clark and made her cry. They got
her frustrated.
Mad. Oh, she was heated. Nothing was going. And if she didn't hit 2 late threes, she had 12 points late in the game, and that's what saved her. But if they beat Michigan State and Indiana, are they in the tournament?
They're going to need some help with that, because you need more of those automatic qualifier 1-bid conferences to go pretty chalk.
Mm-hmm.
So you need a lot of those to happen. You need Illinois to drop their first game. I think that would help. Wisconsin upsetting Purdue doesn't hurt anything. So if you get the first two, if you get Michigan State and you get Indiana, I would say that Indiana win might be the best win any of these bubble teams has on the season, given that Indiana's a number 1 seed in the field as projected right now.
Yeah,
that's a nice feather in the cap to have, but it would take help.
Yeah, I just PK, I'm going to yell at you when we go to break, because that is a terrible tweet. That is a terrible text. That is a terrible. He said New Balance is the best coaching shoes. No, they're not.
Come on.
No.
Come on.
Come on. Son.
Come on.
Come on, son. Yeah, I think the possibilities are, and in truth, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I like Nebraska against Indiana more than I like them against any of the other three.
Yes, we've seen how Iowa goes. And again, here's the thing. Nebraska is due to beat Iowa. There'd be no sweeter time to do it, but not a great matchup.
Right.
Maryland, you beat them once, but again, that's been the exception to the rule in the Big Ten era. Ohio State's really talented.
How much money would you be willing to bet that they would beat Maryland or Iowa in a game?
Of my own? Not a cent.
Your own money.
How much money is someone else giving me to bet? And we can have that conversation.
I'll bet somebody else's money.
But to your point, they hung with Indiana on the road, took them to overtime.
Like
I
thought from a matchup standpoint, the Nebraska's style of play fits having success against Indiana more than it does, because the players are similar. Schematically, they fall in the same place. And some reason, Amy seems to coach more comfortably against Indiana than she does Iowa or
Maryland,
Ohio State. Yeah, Maryland. Amy coaches well against Maryland, but Maryland's athletes are just
next level.
Yeah, Maryland is easily the most talented women's team in the Big Ten. Position for position, player for player, 1 through 9.
Year after year.
Yeah, like Maryland. And Brenda Freese hasn't been out-coached in 19 years.
No.
So, okay, there's that. But I like Nebraska against Indiana. Indiana's cut and roll game, Nebraska defends them well because Izzy and Markowski seem to be able to go back and forth between players, between post players, and not be overmatched.
Right.
That's not the case with Zingano. That's not, Diamond Mill. No, not quite the case. So, there's that thing. So it'll be an interesting week there. Just for, if you're going to Minneapolis, also put that in the text line. Let me know if you're going to go. My flight lands in Minneapolis at 7:30. I would imagine that the hotel is not going to be ready and not going to let me in to my room at 7:30 to take a pregame nap before being at the arena in time. But then it gets interesting. So, Austin, I'm going to put you in Minneapolis.
Okay.
Right? And tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock, number 13 Penn State plays number 12 Minnesota. You're in Minneapolis and it's free. Do you go?
To that Michigan versus that winner game?
Minnesota versus Penn State.
Oh, tomorrow? Yeah, no, I don't. Sorry, misreading the bracket. No, I don't think I do. Even though it's free.
It's free Big Ten tournament basketball.
It just, I would need some time to get acclimated. Minneapolis is a great city.
Well, it's going to be
stuff to do.
They had 14 inches of snow yesterday. You're not going to be out and about. You're not going to be running the streets of Minneapolis. You're not going to, to First Avenue and, Grand Slam. You're not going to Prince's bars or restaurants. That's not happening.
Do I know anyone on Penn State or Minnesota? I can't think of anyone off the top of my head.
I don't know. I really think that's the measurement for the Big Ten Conference, whether I know people on your team or not.
Yeah.
Because the next game at 5:30 is number 10 Wisconsin at number 7 Purdue, and I don't know anybody on either of those teams either. Or is it either?
It's either one. It's either one.
Which one do you use?
Depends on the situation. Typically either.
Well, if you're being a sarcastic marm, you either.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of the signal that I'm above you in your thought right now.
Right. I believe God intended it to be said either. I believe.
I don't know what there's certain words that fall into that. I'm not sure.
Is it dialectical, depending on where you're from? Is it one of those words?
It is. I would think so. But you also have to say either with a bit of a British snobbery.
Turn your chin up just a few degrees.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
can you say either and not make your smuggy bug face? Like,
no, I don't think you can.
no, you kind of have to
Either.
Yeah. It's a little snippy.
It is. Yeah. I never thought about it, but you got a point.
You kind of have to do that. And then I'll ask you, what do you call your mom's sister?
My mom's sister would be my aunt. I know there's a U, but it's silent. It's aunt. Auntie. Auntie Ann's, not Auntie Ann's. And she's not an insect, but it's pronounced the same way. Aunt.
I love people's facial expression when they get to a point where they realize the thing that they're doing and just, like, oh, man, now I got to
Stop calling me on it, DP.
I got to reprocess, right? I got to reprocess, right? Okay, right? Garbage Man says this. Whom or who?
Whom is not a word. That's a hoity-toity status symbol. It is not a word.
Right? But the only time I've ever used whom is when I was faking my mom's signature on a fake sick note for school. To whom it may concern. It's the only time. Tell me if you're on the text line, you can tell us the time you used to whom. I need to know it other than to whom it may concern.
There is no other time.
Right? No. It just doesn't exist.
No.
So, yeah, I was told this weekend that I am an absolute sports snob. I'm a sports snob. Like, there are rules for sports snobbery, things that you just will not accept. Right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a ton. John and Corley, English majors. Yes. It's my language. If I can't major in English, what else can I major in? I've done English longer than anything else in my life, not breathing.
You got breathing, you got walking, you got English.
Right? No, I think I spoke before I walked. I think that would be fair. All right? John, don't start with me. I've got one day here with you this week. Behave yourself. Get in your lane. Get in your lane. We'll throw it to break. Yeah, we'll talk Sparty. What's in play? What are we looking for tonight at PBA when we come back to Old School?
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC in Louisville. As we roll into the year, we continue to get plenty of new 2023 inventory and have a great selection of used vehicles. And if we don't have what you want, we can put a new vehicle order in for you. We also have 2.9% financing right now on select Chevy and GMC new models. So stop on in and make that short drive to Louisville or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Chances are you've tried fruitcake before. Chances are it looked weird. Lots of colors that don't really exist in nature. Chances are it tasted weird. Chances are you need to try fruitcake again. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. None of that weird stuff you didn't like, just real fruit, premium nuts, and the delicious flavor combination of brandy, bourbon, and rum to meld all that together. See for yourself. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, call 988 for free, confidential, and compassionate support. On July 16th, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is transitioning to 988. There is hope. For 24/7 support, call, text, or chat 988.
Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey there.
Hi, honey.
Uh-oh.
Remember we told Jamie and Mike about Liberty First Credit Union, how great their checking account and car loans are, the amazing service we get, and how we love being members?
Yeah.
Well, they took our advice. Jamie said how easy it was to move all their accounts and become members. Now they say they're banking with purpose at Liberty First Credit Union.
Learn more about being a member at libertyfirstcu.com. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose. Member NCUA.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
Getting experience to jumpstart a meaningful career can be difficult, and education can cost a fortune. Luckily, AmeriCorps can be the solution. With AmeriCorps, you'll earn a stipend and education award while helping people. Plus, you'll gain professional skills and make connections to help you build your career. If you're ready to start a career you can be proud of, visit serve.nebraska.gov/service to find a program for you. Paid for by Serve Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. It's soul food right here in Lincoln. Ribs, wings, catfish, coleslaw, cornbread, grits. I mean, I'd say it's food like your grandma used to make, but my grandma never made food like that. If you haven't already, you've got to give it a try. Check out their location across from South Point at 27th and Pine Lake, or find their food truck at events all over town, or visit them online at maryellens.com to see the full menu. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Let them fix you a plate.
Hopcat exists at the intersection of great beer and delicious food, complemented by music, art, community, and comfort. Home to a best-in-class beer experience served by craft beer experts, guests can expect a casual, inviting local gathering place with some of the best damn burgers and fries you'll find in Lincoln. Hopcat is your pregame headquarters for basketball and volleyball all season long. Hopcat is located at 6th and P in the Haymarket. To plan your next trip to Hopcat, visit www.hopcat.com.
This is Megan Whitaker from the Nebraska golf team. If you've put your clubs away for the winter, it's time to get them back out. There's no need to stop thanks to Double Eagle Golf. Double Eagle is home to Lincoln's best indoor golf simulators. It's perfect for every level of golfer, with everything from casual games for the kids to hyper-realistic simulations of some of the best courses in the world. And the best part, no matter what the weather's doing outside, it's always golf weather inside. See for yourself. Double Eagle Golf, just 5 minutes from downtown at the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
Vershawn Jackson for Brant Excavating. Brant's been in business for 29 years, and they specialize in a variety of things. If you're looking for someone to get the job done in precision demolition, excavating, trucking, mass grading, and site prep, Brant is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brant Excavating at 402-474-4113 or go to brantexcavating.com. They're also hiring, so join the team today. Brant Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who reminds you, go big Brant.
Back to old school with DP and J.
We are all over the place today, and if you just buckle up and ride with us. Who knows where we're gonna go?
DP, take the wheel. Hands off the steering wheel.
Like,
we got it.
Like just
ride with us.
Throw your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care, because we don't know where the conversation goes. Joe, the construction guy, sends us a text that, without any question at all, will send us down a rabbit hole that we cannot get out of. Do you pronounce the T in often?
I do not.
It's supposed to be. So how do you say it?
Often.
Often.
It's oftentimes. There's the only T in often when it's oftentimes, but it's often.
Unknown texter out of nowhere. This is such a great text, unknown texter. This is phenomenal. I asked the question, when did you ever use the word whom other than to whom it may concern when you faked your parent's signature on a sick note?
Mm-hmm.
And kudos to whoever that was that came up with that universal thing that every kid in the world figured out. Every kid in America figured out that if you're going to fake your parent's signature, to whom it may concern.
Every professional email ever.
Right? Like to know to whom it may concern. And you went, yeah, that sounds parental.
That's a grown-up thing to say.
Well, that's a thing that every 11-year-old would believe is true. Often, I say often. That's, I wonder if the rest is often. Often. Not with a T, with a D. That could be fair. Okay, so we were talking on the break about sports snobs, because I was told I was a sports snob this week. And I disagreed for a minute, and then I realized it was absolutely true, and I apologize to the person for trying to take their head off for saying it. But it is true. There's certain things within the game that, within sports, that if you do them, I try not to be judgy, but I become super judgy. Snobby.
Mm-hmm.
I think less of you if it happens, and I shouldn't, and I feel terrible about it, but I do it anyway. One of those moments is if you are wearing a baseball jersey and you then tuck said jersey into your jeans.
Tucked into baseball pants is one thing.
And if you're wearing baseball pants to a game and aren't playing, I'm going to think less of you.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
Special circumstance.
Yep.
There's something going on with you that I need to be curious about.
Unless you're a little leaguer running on the field.
Oh, little league. Like if you're in the
that.
pregame, hey, wear your uniform. I think, what's the age for, like, when you're done playing? Is that the line?
So I would honestly say middle school is once you hit high school.
Yeah.
You're old enough to know what you wear to a game and what you don't if you're not playing it. If you're in high school, you wear civilian clothes. If you're in middle school, oh, you're just a kid. You can still get away with it. You're in your uniform. How cute.
Right. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So that led us to jerseys. And I know grown women who have said he could be the perfect man, but if he wears jerseys to games, she will not date him. And I know those people, and I laugh because I said, enjoy all your cats.
Yep. Jerseys are sacred. They're special. They're supposed to mean something. You want to say you want guys to show emotion? Ask them about their jersey.
They will look. Every jersey has meaning and purpose.
It needs to. If you wear a jersey and it doesn't, you take that thing off and give it to someone who cares.
Now, snob lane item 1D.
Okay.
1D. Never wear a jersey to a game for a team that is not playing in the game you're going to.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to Huskers in Ohio State and you show up in a Michigan jersey, everyone should throw snow cones at you.
Mhm.
People should be sticking cotton candy, wet cotton candy attached to your neck. Like this, it should absolutely.
Yes.
It should throw relish packets at them.
Open, preferably.
Open, just to make sure. So, text line, we're going to line this up. 5 o'clock hour, I'm throwing the script out of the way. I need to know your sports pet peeve. The rules that you have for engagement in sports. And then I need for you to tell me, when is it okay not to have your name on the back of your major league jersey? Because some teams have rules. The Yankees, other than specialty days, don't put names on the back of jersey. And a definite pet peeve for me is that if you are a fan, a super fan of the team from Los Angeles or New York, and you're wearing a throwback jersey with a name on the back, you are not a super fan. Because it doesn't work.
If you don't know the number without needing the name, we gotta check that fan card.
The Yankees tell you. It's about the number. They tell you.
Mm-hmm.
So much so, there's so much about the Yankees being the Yankees that they don't want you to wear a beard or a mustache. Like for years, you couldn't do either. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Doug, we'll go to break, but we'll have Austin read Doug's text before we go. Come on, Austin.
I need y'all to read the lyrics to "Often" by The Weeknd out loud so you can practice articulating that T. I say often just fine, Doug. Appreciate it, though. Appreciate the thought.
Oh, we're going to get all of your pet peeves. 402-464-5685. Get them to us over the break. Top of the hour, Old School coming up.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hopcat exists at the intersection of great beer and delicious food, complemented by music, art, community, and comfort. Home to a best-in-class beer experience served by craft beer experts, guests can expect a casual, inviting local gathering place with some of the best damn burgers and fries you'll find in Lincoln. Hopcat is your pregame headquarters for basketball and volleyball all season long. Hopcat is located at 6th and P in the Haymarket. To plan your next trip to Hopcat, visit www.hopcat.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC in Louisville. As we roll into the year, we continue to get plenty of new 2023 inventory and have a great selection of used vehicles. And if we don't have what you want, we can put a new vehicle order in for you. We also have 2.9% financing right now on select Chevy and GMC new models. So stop on in and make that short drive to Louisville or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Hey guys, Nick Sadert here, and I want to tell you about my friends at Spine and Sports Chiropractic. I experienced a herniated disc in my lower back a few years ago, and thanks to the folks at Spine and Sports, I got back to feeling 100%. At Spine and Sports, they use the active release technique, which involves the soft tissue and can alleviate headaches, shoulder pain, plantar fasciitis, and more. What I like most about the ART method is that your doctor will construct a plan that fits your needs because the technique is not a cookie-cutter approach. Allow Spine and Sports Chiropractic to help you feel better. Set up your appointment today by giving them a call at 402-261-6841.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batsterats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Vershawn Jackson for Brandt Excavating. Brandt's been in business for 29 years, and they specialize in a variety of things. If you're looking for someone to get the job done in precision demolition, excavating, trucking, mass grading, and site prep, Brent is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brent Excavating at 402-474-4113 or go to BrentExcavating.com. They're also hiring, so join the team today. Brent Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who reminds you, go big Brent.
Chances are you've tried fruitcake before. Chances are it looked pretty weird. Lots of colors that don't really exist in nature. Chances are it tasted weird. Chances are you need to try fruitcake again. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. None of that weird stuff you didn't like, just real fruit, premium nuts, and the delicious flavor combination of brandy, bourbon, and rum to meld all that together. See for yourself. Grandma's fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. It's soul food right here in Lincoln. Ribs, wings, catfish, coleslaw, cornbread, grits. I mean, I'd say it's food like your grandma used to make, but my grandma never made food like that. If you haven't already, you've got to give it a try. Check out their location across from South Point at 27th and Pine Lake, or find their food truck at events all over town, or visit them online at maryellens.com to see the full menu. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Let them fix you a plate.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, call 988 for free, confidential, and compassionate support. On July 16th, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is transitioning to 988. There is hope. For 24/7 support, call, text, or chat 988.
Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Mostly cloudy skies for the majority of the day. We may see some clearing late. We'll see a high of around 50. Winds out of the southeast at around 10 to 15. Clearing skies tonight with a low down to around 30. We'll see an increase in cloud cover late in the day tomorrow with a high once again near 50. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hour number 2 of Old School on a Tuesday. CP, Austin Orman. 402-464-5685. Starter Heyman text line if you want to jump in. And you guys have been active and good, and we appreciate it. We'll get to all of your texts because we want to get through some of these pet peeves. Things that you want changed or things that you just refuse to not accept. Starter Heyman live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter live. Get to it, and we appreciate you guys for all of your additions to today's show. The Mercado, quality meats, great dining at Casa Bovina, and a great space down below for you to go and get the things that you need. We're going to go through it, but let's go to the Honda Lincoln Hotline. Let's bring in Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman. Jay Foreman, how the heck are you?
I'm doing all right, man. It's different temperature than up there in the MPLS, and so it's good to see some sun outside of here in Nebraska.
Yeah, I didn't know what your schedule was going to be. I'm glad you let me know. George, I'm reading the text line. These people are funny. Jay, and we're into pet peeves, right? The things that bother you in sports. Like we started with, if you wearing a baseball jersey and you tuck it in. You know, how old can you? We were just asking text. How old can you be and still take a baseball glove to a game? What's the line?
Well, baseball, I think there's no age limit, because if you go to a Major League Baseball game, you'll see grandpas doing it, and that's just something that the way that they grew up doing. It's like one of those traditions. Those are actually pretty cool. I don't have a problem with that, just because I think just the experience of trying to be lucky enough to, catch a foul ball or catch a home run is I've never done it, but I'm pretty sure it's a pretty cool experience. So, that keeps, like, to me, this is just my opinion, it keeps the kid part of you into the game of baseball, no matter your age. Now, some of the other stuff where you have, grown men rocking jerseys and stuff like that, that might have an age limit. But again, baseball, I think, is a different sport just because they play by like their own set of rules and regulations, and they've kind of kept them that way for the most part. You show a pitcher up, even though you can't hit them, like when say Bob Gibson or somebody like that was playing, but they will tighten you up inside. And then now these days they have pitchers that are ready to throw hands. So the traditions of baseball are a little bit longer lasting than say football. And here's an example for football. A pet peeve of mine is you're in competition, but you're buddy with your competitor. You see that in NBA basketball, you see it in football. When you play those two type of sports, there has to be a line drawn while you're playing. Doesn't mean you're trying to hurt them, but you're trying to win and beat them, and you're trying to beat them as bad as possible. And so a pet peeve of mine is I call it the play date era of athletes, where they're all getting together and it's like a play date versus, back when, teams that really separate themselves, they were playing for keeps.
All of that's good because, and shout out to the picture you shared, you and your dad today. That was pretty cool. Like I was like, all right, man, that made me feel good for you. see you and your dad together. The rivalry part of it. Do we use the word rivalry in a wrong way? Define rivalry.
There's got to be a long history there, and the long history can't be one-sided. I think it's drama-packed. I think there's got to be wins and losses to when somebody, where both teams, when, something's on the line and one team wins and another team wins, or you stop a team from reaching their ultimate goal, and the games are tight and they're fierce and they're, I guess, if I compare it to football, football where, it's extremely physical, but it's, competitive. You don't like the teams, but you respect them. You don't like their fans, but you respect them. You don't like the university. Like, you don't even like their colors or anybody from, that state. You kind of look at them a little sideways, but you respect them. That's a rivalry. And so, if you think about in the NFL, the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Baltimore Ravens, that's a real rivalry right there. It doesn't matter what the records are, what year it is. That's a long withstanding rivalry that's going to go on until a lot of those guys that have made it a rivalry, are no longer on this earth. Now, back when I played, it was Oklahoma and Nebraska. That's obviously blue bloods and going at it. And right now, we might have rivals as far as like teams that we might think are rivalries, but we haven't won enough or, been consistent enough to beat the Iowas and the Wisconsins and stuff to make it really something that where they are losing or they're worried about us. We got to win a couple more games to make it a rivalry. And it doesn't have to be even Steven as far as the wins and losses. So, I think Iowa beat us 7 years in a row. And so just say for the next 2 or 3 years and we went out of two of the last 3, well, that's a rivalry in the making or just a recent rivalry where, we won 3 out of the last 4. You can't go back and dig up an old horse of the previous 7, but we can talk about the last 4. So now we know, you're different. You're dealing with a different, ball team. And so I think it's good for sports. I wish it was a little bit more distinct as far as rivalries and stuff like that. And, guys that are playing for, more than just themselves, but ultimately that's where we are, today in sports. And the teams that get it are generally the teams that win. And the players that get it are generally the players that are successful and so forth and so on.
In talking about that leads to dynasty talk. Please define for us, if you would, kind sir, dynasty. What defines a dynasty?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a little bit just how you look at it. Like you could look at, some people look at it how many Super Bowls you win in a certain amount of years, or like if you look at the NFL right now, look at Alabama. They've been a dynasty for a while. Clemson was, pretty much a dynasty, during those 4 or 5 year run, and obviously, with Georgia here, that could be a dynasty, a short dynasty. But a true dynasty is when you're looking at like the Patriots, 20 years or, two different decades of dominance, or, when Nebraska was really rolling, or the Canes when they were really rolling. Those are dynasties. I think sometimes they get thrown around and used too quickly, and it lessens the value. But, a team that might be on the cusp might be the Chiefs, where they've been, in the AFC Championship and you got 2 Super Bowls and they lost 1. Is it a dynasty? It's probably in the making. And they definitely got it figured out how to play some good football. And, they're probably the closest right now. They've been the most consistent, and they've been, in a lot of ways, obviously the most dominant. And they've won a lot of big games, and, they're constantly there. So, when you think, over the next like 5 or 6 years and the Chiefs continue to be there 2 or 3 more times, you're looking at 7 out of 10 last 10 years. That's definitely a dynasty. And it's not predicated or directly tied to Super Bowl wins. It's obviously, being there in the hunt and, being there and being on the cusp of winning, NBA championships, Super Bowl, so forth and so on. And so, I think dynasties can be, individual as well. You can look at dominance, obviously that's Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, all those great players. But then the teams, you see very, few and far between, just because of the dynamics of the sport these days, you don't get it as much.
Jay, can you be a dynasty if in your era of dominance, you're not the only team dominating in that sport? Case in point, in the 80s, Lakers, Celtics, was either of those teams, and I said either, of those teams a dynasty?
Oh, well, they both were there. So it's just, they're in 2 different conferences. And so, yeah, I don't see why there wouldn't. It doesn't have to be pure dominance to be a dynasty. So, they were there. It was every year it was the Lakers or the Celtics won the NBA championship, most likely. Detroit, got up in there, and obviously the Bulls took it over from there. And then the Lakers. But, yeah, that's it. To me, that's a dynasty. What 2 teams in that era when obviously Magic and Bird directly tied to it weren't a dynasty? Like, I don't know. So I guess my question would be, how weren't they a dynasty? Like, what qualifications didn't they meet? They won championships, and they always were in the hunt if they didn't win the championship. And better yet, they were the standard that everybody was measured against, and everybody knew on those 2 teams and those 2 franchises, they were preparing for each other. As hopefully, like with the Chiefs, if you're going into this offseason, you better be figuring out how to beat the Chiefs, because if you're trying to prepare for how to beat the Eagles or the Cowboys or, a team that was kind of like, hadn't won it, you're preparing for the wrong reasons. And so that's where the dynasty goes, is the team that you got to measure against, the team that's consistently there, along with world championships in either sport.
Georgia Bulldogs have won back-to-back championships. How many more wins do they have to be a dynasty?
I think if they get one more in the next 2 or 3 years, it'll be interesting to see. I think dynasties are generally, like, when I look at it, there's a little bit of portability, or they've adapted as well, right? So I guess if you want to look at the Lakers and the Celtics back in the day, The Lakers, when they won their first one, they were real run and gun, right? And then they had to adjust to the Celtics because they had to get a little bit more physical. So then, therefore, they had to adjust on the defensive end, right? So then that was like their second part of their dynasty. And the Celtics had to do the exact opposite, right? They could beat you up and fundamentally you to death. Larry Bird, and they'll just kind of, extra pass you to death. But then they had to get a little bit more pizzazz. And so then, therefore, they had to adjust their roster. And a couple guys that they had to be able to match up with the Lakers, right? So when you think of when they got Bill Walton and stuff like that, guys at the end of their career, well, when you got Robert Parrish, Bill Walton, now they're able to look at Michael Thompson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Kurt Rambis, and Big Game James right in the eye versus all of them feasting on Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale. So I think it also has to be where you're able to adapt, because if you get a short 2-year run, not like Georgia, and this is not taking anything away from them. Don't get me wrong. But now the quarterback's gone. They've had 2 years or will have 2 years of plethora of guys drafted in that. Are you still the dominant team without that quarterback? Are you still the dominant team without those dominant offensive linemen? Because you've had, 2 or 3 recruiting classes where you've hit and they've been able to gel injury free, but the quarterback that played at a high level, and you kind of hit, you hit a home run with Stetson Bennett. What can you do when he's not there, and will you be a dominant? And that's where if they do it in the next year, obviously 2 or 3 years, they're definitely in a dynasty in those 5-year runs. I don't think you have to measure it anymore off of 10 years, like how we obviously measured the Patriots. It's 2 10-year runs that were probably unprecedented in any sport. I think when you think of 5 to 7 years is probably good, just because the turnover, not only in college football with the transfer portal, so forth and so on, the coaches leaving. It seems like every year, whether you're losing coordinators or position coaches, but then also with the NFL, with the salary cap and the overblown salaries, will lessen their ability to have, dynasties for anything more than a 5 to 7 year run.
We're on the road with Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman. Jay, we're talking dynasties. Who's next in the NBA, most likely out of these 4? Bucks, Celtics, Warriors, Lakers. Who's the next likely dynasty?
Man, I don't think any of them. I think the Lakers, you would think that they had their chance, but I think Anthony Davis did not take that torch, from LeBron. That would have been LeBron leading the way, Anthony Davis kind of taking over, then LeBron being more of a, Robin to the Batman. But Anthony Davis, through health reasons, haven't been able to do that. So I think that's affected them, along with some other moves, obviously, Russell Westbrook and so forth, and blowing the team up that won a championship, so forth and so on. That's lessened them. Now the Warriors, right? So actually, let's skip over the Warriors, because I want to come to them last. So then you think of the Bucks. I think the Bucks play a style that's probably the closest to be a dynasty, because you have a superstar in his prime, a second-tier superstar in Middleton in his prime, and then Holiday, who's maybe a third-tier, probably lower-end second-tier superstar. I would say not maybe in his prime, but still like at his apex. And they're all want to be in Milwaukee, and they're all like salary cap functions. They're good, along with all the other pieces there. And they'll consistently be there year in and year out. Might not be the flashiest. They're probably out of all those teams, I would say the Bucks. Now, when you look at the Warriors, you actually have 2 sets of rosters that are fighting each other. You have the guys that have built up their first dynasty, right? Clay, Steph, Draymond, and then the pieces that kind of fit in there that are still around. But now you got Jordan Poole. And the thing about Jordan Poole, right? He can fill it up. He's a great free throw shooter down at the end of the game. But when he plays really, really bad, he sucks out all the energy out of the team just by how he plays, because it's not really Golden State basketball. So I think their ability to have a second dynasty is over, because not only are the bell cows or the old Lions aging out, the new Lions aren't willing to take the mantle or the torch that the old Lions have that set forth that is the winning, I guess, formula. I think last year was their last hurrah. They, got some injuries, and, obviously we keep talking about it. This, the thing that happened in training camp with Draymond Green and Poole, I think that really nullified it, and it's something that Draymond has to deal with, something that Poole maybe has to deal with as far as did he, push it to that part. At the end of the day, I think their run as a dynasty is over. Even if they make a big run this year, next year that team is in that organization is going to be totally different. Because on top of that, the guy that put the whole ball had all the pieces together, along with first hiring Steve Kerr and then letting everything come together. I think it's Bob Myers. He's not under contract, so he's almost like a lame duck GM. So right there lets you know that dynasty over, because that is the figurehead. That's definitely a dynasty, and they were a quiet dynasty, but they definitely were a dynasty. They were dominant. They were there every single time, and when they lost in the championship type of moment, you were surprised. And then they had a second run, there when they battled the Heat and stuff like that. So they were the standard, and until they got beat.
And they changed the way basketball was being played. The Mount Rushmore of college football coaches, Jay Foreman, the Mount Rushmore of college football coaches. Who are your 4?
Of all time?
Yep.
Oh man, that's not even fair.
Well, that's why we asked. That's why we asked the Ivy League guy. Come on.
Yeah. I don't know about Ivy League guy. I wish I had a list of guys, a list I could cheat and show you how I really got down to Ivy League vibes. Obviously, Coach Osborne's on there. I think for him, he's on there for sure.
Yep.
Nick Saban for sure.
Okay.
I never saw any of the teams of Bear Bryant, but I'm going to put him on there.
Okay.
And then
here's the
after
one.
that, man, there's one more. I really after that, you could go Jimmy Johnson. You could do. I'm trying to think right now, just off the top of my head.
Is Jimmy ahead of Urban? Is Jimmy ahead of Urban?
Urban. Yeah, I guess I could put Urban in there. What has he got? 2, 3 national championships. I'd probably put Jimmy. I don't think Urban's on the Mount Rushmore. He's not one of my 4, but he's a dang near close. He's excellent in the college game.
Uh-huh.
He's probably more in the modern day Mount Rushmore.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the things that he did, what he did at Florida, and just on pure coaching. I'm going to take. I'm not going to get into any of the personal business on that. He's definitely probably Urban probably there. You got 3 national championships, 2, obviously 2 different places. Being there, and one thing Urban has done is he changed the landscape of the Big Ten, whether you like him, love him, or hate him, or indifferent. He changed the landscape of the Big Ten, for a time period there for the better. Now it's up to, whether it's Harbaugh, Day, James Franklin, Matt Rule to change the landscape of the Big Ten, right now, because Urban and his footprint is still here, but it's changed, right? There's a lot of turnover in the Big Ten as far as coaches, coordinators, and the players. And now you got to get back up to a national level to where you can compete both in perception and in reality.
We were hit from the text line a couple of opinions and options. Barry Switzer, Eddie Robinson.
Yeah, for sure. It's a basket Robinson. When you're talking about those guys right there and the guys that I mentioned, I'm sure I mentioned, where you can't beat those guys. Even John Gigliotti up there at St. John's. I think when he retired, he was the winningest coach in college football. I know they're Division III, but you got to think about winning national championships at that type of clip. But it's all about the era that you've seen guys and what they've done. I'm big on longevity and being able to adjust the game. And do things, and you think of somebody. I know he only had 1 national championship, but when you think about Bobby Bowden, being on the Mount Rushmore, probably not in the first 4 or 5, but he might not be on the whole side of the mountain, but he's on the one where you have the ridge, just to based on what he was able to do at Florida State and how he was able to win for that long of period of time, and so there's a lot of great coaches, and I was fortunate enough, before I get off here, I was fortunate enough when I went back and spoke to Minnesota, but able to see one of my coaches that I obviously kept in contact with high school, and coaching is a lost art, in the sense of developing and believing in your players, and it was few and far between when I was coming out of Minnesota. He was one of the ones that really truly believed in me from the very beginning. He spoke it into existence, and he probably pushed me, probably to believe in myself more than I did initially. And, when you see him, and you're grateful, grateful for those type of relationships, considering that, I know we just, the high school championship's coming up, and, the relationship, hopefully, that these coaches are taking serious about with players that can help players become better. Because, the days of coaches, coaching all the players and doing what, and calling colleges and getting all that stuff, those days are gone. And for the most part. And so, that's where you see the drop in the sport and the development side on and off the court or field or whatever you're on. And that's where you separate the successful ones. And it's, still a relationship business all the way down to high school. I mean, I knew him, or Coach Henning, since I was, 16, 17 years old. Here I am, 47. That's it's 31 years. That's obviously, a pretty long time to be in contact and still love them to death.
Well, I'm glad you got to connect and reminisce. I kind of went through that a little bit this weekend myself. Stopped by and spent some time with some coaching buddies and some former teammates. Jay, travel safe, get off the road, and we'll holler at you again tomorrow.
All right, Blair.
That is Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman. Thanks for doing what he does. Austin, we got a few things. I mean, Bud Wilkinson's the name that came into play. Barry Switzer comes into play. Newt Rockney comes into play. I jokingly said that during a break, I learned this over time. My nephew graduated from the University of Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And going to a game down there, what I knew to be true is if I really was angry at Alabama fans, I would do this thing. And I'll do that thing again when we come back from break.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Megan Whitaker from the Nebraska golf team. If you put your clubs away for the winter, it's time to get them back out. There's no need to stop thanks to Double Eagle Golf. Double Eagle is home to Lincoln's best indoor golf simulators. It's perfect for every level of golfer, with everything from casual games for the kids to hyper-realistic simulations of some of the best courses in the world. And the best part, no matter what the weather's doing outside, it's always golf weather inside. See for yourself. Double Eagle Golf, just 5 minutes from downtown at the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
The Empire brand is growing with ESC Fabrication and Sandblasting. ESC is your place for custom handrails, industrial and commercial painting, and more. ESC provides custom welding for aluminum and stainless steel and media blasting of all sorts. ESC has great attention to detail. They stick to deadlines and keep in your budget. If you can dream it, they can make it. Contact ESC Fabrication and Sandblasting in Waverly today at 531-207-9329.
Hey guys, Nick Sadert here, and I want to tell you about my friends at Spine and Sports Chiropractic. I experienced a herniated disc in my lower back a few years ago, and thanks to the folks at Spine and Sports, I got back to feeling 100%. At Spine and Sports, they use the active release technique, which involves the soft tissue and can alleviate headaches, shoulder pain, plantar fasciitis, and more. What I like most about the ART method is that your doctor will construct a plan that fits your needs because the technique is not a cookie-cutter approach. Allow Spine and Sports Chiropractic to help you feel better. Set up your appointment today by giving them a call at 402-261-6841.
We've been a little spoiled with a mild winter so far, but the snow is here and it's time to take care of your car. Stop by your local Rocket Car Wash to remove dirt and salt buildup and protect your vehicle from winter weather wear. Visit us at our 2 area Rocket Car Wash locations for a quick, quality clean every time. If your car's interior is feeling the winter weather, check out Express Detail Tunnels at our Williamsburg location, 3833 Village Drive. RocketCarWash.com.
Can you believe all the empty car lots in Lincoln? How can they survive? Well, they are surviving by charging way too much and making you believe there are no cars available. Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto. I'm here to tell you that they are full of bull stuffing. Come out to Price Right in West O, and you'll find over 100 great vehicles at some great prices. We won't let you get a lemon since we back every one of our vehicles with our Peace of Mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, PriceRightAuto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used car street at Price Right Auto.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Ambassador Real Estate goes option when selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Mostly cloudy skies for the majority of the day. We may see some clearing late. We'll see a high of around 50. Winds out of the southeast at around 10 to 15. Clearing skies tonight with a low down to around 30. We'll see an increase in cloud cover late in the day tomorrow with a high once again near 50. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
People always ask, what are Jake Dip like when they're off the air? Well, the answer probably won't surprise you.
Hey, Jake, your Honda's looking a little dirty.
Says the guy whose license plate is barely visible.
I mean, do you even care about that thing anymore?
It gets a little uncomfortable. Now, that's when I jump in.
Hey, whoa. Mark, did you get a new car?
Nope, just took my car down to Nebraska Auto Detail. Joe and the staff made the outside and the inside look amazing. Maybe you guys need to go.
Okay, wise guy.
Settle down, Jake.
Book your appointment today at NebraskaAutoDetail.com.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, call 988 for free, confidential, and compassionate support. On July 16th, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is transitioning to 988. There is hope. For 24/7 support, call, text, or chat 988.
Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I want to thank Jay Foreman for hanging out with us again. 402-464-5685. You guys have been awesome on the text line. Yeah, John and Cortland, we appreciate it, man. John Robinson, look, USC had some dudes out there. And yeah, you're absolutely right. No one brought up Joe Paterno. History is a tough lady. You are absolutely correct. But yeah, I said, nothing gets fans irritated about as much as coach talk. And so being in Alabama and really just screaming out loud, who's better, Saban or Bear? And then watching the battle royal of all fan battles take place, because that is a population that is split firmly in God versus God.
Right. Yeah.
And they fight hard for their God. And my buddy just elbowed me. And he's like, what'd you do that for? And I'm like, entertainment. Surefire entertainment.
We're in the entertainment business.
Oh.
You poke the bear.
Chef's kiss. It was spectacular. Just watching the old and the young just lose it. Just lose it. And the same thing can be said. You do that in Oklahoma, you do that in Norman, and just go, Switcher's better than Wilkinson. And then there are people that are just like, oh no, we did this with Eric Precision and Lou Holtz back in the day. And I mean, we gonna fight. We are going to fight. You can do that at USC. there's certain places where you have that sort of a legacy. But yeah, crazy enough. That's funny. I like that. I'm having a silly day, in case you hadn't noticed. Being that dude, I'm interested in his coaching and Jay's coaching Mount Rushmore, because I think, is there anybody out there who thinks that it's not these three and then another guy? Like most people think it's Saban, Bear, Osborne, and then somebody on the college level, right? John McKay, yeah, he's the other guy. Yeah. Who's four? Who's four?
I think those three are there. If I break it into tiers, like your 1A is probably Osborne, Bryant, Saban.
There's no second Mount Rushmore.
I'm just saying, if we're doing this like all NBA teams or all conference teams,
right?
You pick your four, whatever.
Yeah.
Bobby Bowden, the run that he had Florida State on. I mean, the number of times they were in the top 10, in the top 5, up there.
But he's in the Steve Spurrier level of, they're in the mountains, but they're not at the top.
Rushmore, right?
Right. Like they get a section of trees, but they're not, and they're not at the bottom of the mountain.
No.
They're probably a third of the way up, because Paternal's in that space. Darryl Royal, who changed the way football was operated in. I mean, if you think of the blue blood programs, you have to think of those programs. You think of USC. I'm not sure who USC's best coach is.
Right.
Like I'm old enough that John McKay changed college football. You could say John Robinson had his effect, and you could say Pete Carroll had his effect, but John McKay was now he may have I think he's in a real close battle, 1A, 1B, as the most crotchety of all coaches, college coaches, side by side. Like it's John McKay who really just didn't like people. And Woody Hayes, who was so angry he punched an opposing player.
With a helmet on.
Like,
the dude had a helmet on. He punched him.
Think about that for a moment and just put yourself, if that had happened in today's social media world, right? That a coach in a big bowl game on national TV left the sideline and punched a player from Clemson. Now, mind you, because of the way Clemson is now, there are people in the country who would have cheered Woody Hayes for punching somebody from Clemson. But can you imagine that now?
No.
And it was a big deal then. I mean, I was alive and aware back then.
Speaking of Clemson, is Dabo in the mountains? Is he in the forest?
That's the next. He's not in now. He got a tree.
Okay.
He's got a tree. But if you were doing today's Mount Rushmore of college coaches, Dabo's that number 3 that we've been talking about. Right? I mean,
yeah,
that's pretty simple. There are 3 programs that are above everybody else's programs.
You got Saban, you got Meyer, you got Dabo.
No, Meyer's not even, because he's removed himself from it. There's a guy who's won back-to-back championships.
Kirby, yeah.
Right? So those 3, and then a bunch of other people trying to be like them, trying to be, I mean, think about it. The national championships go back. Who else has won a national championship in the last 10 years?
LSU, but Orgeron's not on there. Florida State, but Jimbo's not on there.
Right?
Auburn, but they go through coaches.
Right, right. Like we don't even know who their coach is right now.
Right.
I literally couldn't tell you who their coach is right now.
Smells on.
Yeah, okay, right? Like, okay. And then who?
Or did they got Freeze?
Right. So
that's right. Hey, there we go.
Right?
Full circle. Yeah,
right.
Freeze. Yeah. Other than that,
right?
Yeah. You can't say Lincoln Riley yet.
Stoops.
Can't say Stoops.
No, Stoops doesn't. I mean, I think Stoops gets just ridiculous amounts of credit for no reason.
He won. He got 1.
Yeah, Newt Rockne is the 4th, just because of the pure numbers. Now, different eras, different games, but legacy. I mean, his speech is still the most quoted of all football speeches for that very reason. And because he was there and Notre Dame. People forget that that's why Notre Dame was Notre Dame. That part. But if you went into it now, it's those three. If Urban comes back, he's back in the conversation, but he's not in the conversation now, so he couldn't be on today's. Who do you put as the fourth best coach in college football from a legacy standpoint right now? Like, Day is in the conversation. Harbaugh is in the conversation, right? He can't get over the hump, right? So, but a win changes the discussion. Another win for Day changes the discussion.
I don't think he's there.
Huh?
I'm throwing this name out for the sake of discussion. Ferentz? Hasn't won anything big.
I'd block him at the door at the. They had the up and down gate.
Mm-hmm.
He's blocked at the gate. Like, no, like they're gonna call all the other coaches down from the mountain to laugh at Ferentz trying to get up on their mountain.
Kyle Whittingham.
They're not gonna let him in, but they're not laughing at him.
Okay.
They're not laughing at him. But the Big Ten, this is really what it is, right? This is really what it is. Like, we think of football in such a grand scope, but when you put it under a periscope, you have to see it more clearly. Under a microscope, you just long vision is here's the game, and this is why blue bloods are blue bloods, and this is why we will forgive a lot of things over the past few years. Notre Dame, even being top 10, still we think less of them. We think less of them. We make fun of Texas, but Texas was it, right? For a while, Texas was a problem.
Back.
Yeah. Oklahoma, we talk about Stoops, but Stoops compared to Switzer and Wilkinson, boy.
He's cleaning those shoes off. He's shining them.
And then here's the really funny thing, right? That Bob Stoops is the third best coach in Oklahoma. Similar programs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the third best coach in Nebraska?
Bo. Bo? You might say Frank, but Frank went 500 that one year.
Right?
Am I crazy for saying Bo? Is it my age showing, or am I right in saying Bo?
Don't know. I don't know. Text line, hook us up. We will start taking your texts. Who is the third best coach in Nebraska football history? We will take your answer and we will respond to that and close it out when we come back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and the ticketfm.com.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. It's soul food. Right here. Rib, wings, catfish, coleslaw, red grits. I mean, say it's food like your grandma used to make, but my grandma never made food like that. If you haven't already, you've got to give it a try. Check out their location across from South Point at 27th and Pine Lake, or find their food truck at events all over town, or visit them online at maryellens.com to see the full menu. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Let them fix you a plate.
Early break with Sip and Jay.
I just feel like people are not talking about enough the incomplete passing. This blows my mind.
Why does it blow your mind?
Because that's a strategy to the end of spiking the ball, or hey, find something to stop the clock. You can't just stop the clock. That's a part of football. It's always been a part of football.
Right,
You can't just
You're
changing the end of games completely.
Yeah,
Why would you do that?
I don't think you have to stress that one too much. Don't even stress it.
Urban 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
Vershawn Jackson for Brant Excavating. Brant's been in business for 29 years, and they specialize in a variety of things. If you're looking for someone to get the job done in precision demolition, excavating, trucking, mass grading, and site prep, Brant is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brant Excavating at 402-474-4113 or go to brantexcavating.com. They're also hiring, so join the team today. Brant Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who reminds you, go big bread.
Can you believe all the empty car lots in Lincoln? How can they survive? Well, they are surviving by charging way too much and making you believe there are no cars available. Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto. I'm here to tell you that they are full of bull stuffing. Come out to Price Right in Westo and you'll find over 100 great vehicles at some great prices. We won't let you get 11 since we back every one of our vehicles with our peace of mind 3-month warranty. If you want a hassle-free car buying experience, check out our website, pricerightauto.com. Come see a great selection of affordable used cars on Westo Street at Price Right Auto.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
The Empire brand is growing with ESC fabrication and sandblasting. ESC is your place for custom handrails, industrial and commercial painting, and more. ESC provides custom welding for aluminum and stainless steel and media blasting of all sorts. ESC has great attention to detail. They stick to deadlines and keep within your budget. If you can dream it, they can make it. Contact ESC Fabrication and Sandblasting in Waverly today at 531-207-9329.
We've been a little spoiled with a mild winter so far, but the snow is here and it's time to take care of your car. Stop by your local Rocket Car Wash to remove dirt and salt buildup and protect your vehicle from winter weather wear. Visit us at our 2 area Rocket Car Wash locations for a quick, quality clean every time. If your car's interior is feeling the winter weather, check out Express Detail Tunnels at our Williamsburg location, 3833 Village Drive, rocketcarwash.com.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Yeah, we're going to set this up for you. We will hand it over to Teammates Mentoring Hour normally on Wednesday, but because we're carrying state championship games, they will move to tonight to get through. I'm not sure about Kyle Perry. I'll ask. No, so Kyle won't do it this week. I wasn't sure what was going on. And then you guys recognize that tomorrow we will have the post-game show for basketball, 10 o'clock tonight. Again, for those of you that are headed down to PBA, I will see you down there. It's a big night down at PBA. Third best coach. I think we've landed. There's 3. So Austin, maybe you should do like an online poll.
I will tweet
Jumbo Steam, Frank Solich, and Bo Pelini. Aren't those the 3? Am I?
I also believe you threw Dana Bible in the
Dana Bible would be so put all 4
options.
All 4 of those in there about who is the third best coach at Nebraska. And again, you can't be wrong. I love that text. It's that's good. It's a Frank meme. Frank memes rule, quite frankly. Right? Like, I mean, are there any really good Coach Tom Osborne memes?
Given what we've seen from people on Twitter with the basketball team and other teams' score graphics after Nebraska beats them, if they're not, there can be made very rapidly.
Yeah, but I don't know of any. Like,
Nor do I.
I can think of 4 or 5 really good Solich. And then, of course, since Faux Pelini had its own social media run, that had a thing. Texter says this: Frank won 1 conference championship. Our last, but with somebody else's players. Bo got multiple conference championship games, but 1-0. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Jumbo's looking.
Oh, that'd
really
be my
good.
dad. Thanks for chiming in, Dad.
Yeah, well, that's what parents are there for. They're supposed to help you. Like, that's what but that's a good pull, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good pull. So, Austin, if I had to ask you in advance, how many points does K-State score tonight?
K-State scores 15 points with 2 made threes.
That's a very tough night. Come here. Yeah, Harrison, come here. Harrison, he's giving the up on this one, man. He's like that. I think that's her. Harrison, I mean, yeah,
I'm going over on that.
Yeah.
I think 15's a solid number, but that's one I'm taking the over, especially tonight, being senior night. He doesn't back down from the moment so far.
And he's walking tonight.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are we're sad about that, right? That's a statement of truth. We're all sad. Nobody wants to see K-State leave.
No.
Correct.
After this season, though, like I'm not surprised either.
Well, Fred had to describe one. He described K-State as an NBA prospect, which I think he absolutely he's a pro prospect, and I can't possibly fathom that an NBA team wouldn't take a runner on K-State.
Well, look at Duncan Robinson, who went from D3 just being a 3-point shooter and then making his crazy run all
Yeah,
the
but
way
Duncan
to the NBA.
Robinson's 6'6". K-State gets a look in
That's fair.
summer league. He should get a look in summer league.
But Steph's not 6'6" either.
Right.
I mean, there are players in the league. Dame's not 6'6".
No.
That 71 points he had tells you, look, and honest question, K-State's a better shooter than Dame, right?
No, I'm not going to go that far yet.
Okay. I want to see that. Okay.
Dame needs his flowers.
I think it's fair. Here's a couple of notes from the previous Michigan State-Nebraska matchup this season. Jamarcus Lawrence played 6 minutes, didn't take a shot. Denham Dawson played 10 minutes. K-State only played 12 minutes.
2 points.
Yeah, only played 12 minutes. Brian Bach gave you 19 minutes, had a big night for him, 10 points, 4 boards. So that's possible. CJ Wilcher had a tough night, 6 points. Griesel was he had 10 points, but I don't think he would say it was a good night. And Derek Walker had 15 and 9. All of those numbers go up. And I think it's interesting. Oh, by the way, Sam Hoiberg only played cleanup and made free throws at the end of the game. So this is a different team tonight headed down there. I thank you guys. I'm going to head to Minneapolis, and I'm going to watch some Husker baseball against Mississippi. Vandy.
Shut the Whistler up. If they're there, please throw that relish packet at the Whistler.
Oh, I'm giving somebody my credit card for bail if me and the Whistler meet up.
Talk about sports snobbery. That doesn't even rise to that level because it's the Whistler. Just stop.
Me and the Whistler are going to have words. My mission will be to get him into a closet. Like I'm gonna trick him. Like I'm gonna buy him a beverage and tell him that it's like lemonade, but it'll be pickle juice.
Tell him it'll wet his whistle.
Right. It'll be pickle juice, and it'll shut him up. Like that's what
I'll chip in.
Right. Like I think that's the space. So don't go anywhere. Teammates mentoring hour. We'll take you through from 6 to 7. And remember, at the end of this thing, Harrison will get you through, and then post-game show. Hopefully, we get together at 10 o'clock tonight and celebrate the 5th consecutive Huskers win.
The Empire brand is growing with ESC fabrication and sandblasting. ESC is your place for custom handrails, industrial and commercial painting, and more. ESC provides custom welding for aluminum and stainless steel and media blasting of all sorts. ESC has great attention to detail. They stick to deadlines and keep within your budget. If you can dream it, they can make it. Contact ESC Fabrication and Sandblasting in Waverly today at 531-207-9329.
From John Jackson for Brant Excavating. Brant's been in business